today I've got such an important lesson for you that you really want to pay close attention to. And it's on communication. Have you ever thought, how do I communicate? Now think about communication first with yourself. Listen to how you speak to yourself. Is that how you would like to speak to yourself? See, communication first starts with us. Everything is a mirror of ourselves. And communication is so important, especially for the leaders out there or who want to develop themselves into leaders. The one thing is, when you're communicating and you are speaking to somebody else, you want to make sure there's no gray area, that everything that you communicate is exactly how you are really meaning for it to be expressed. See, we have this thing called perception. It's one of our faculties. And you're seeing the world not as it is, but as you are. And a lot of people, because they're listening to speak, we'll get into listening in a moment, but they're listening to speak, they're not hearing what the message is, but they're hearing what their program is telling them. And if you're sitting there right now, you know you, and you're easily offended or you personalize, you could be putting your guards up right away where you're not listening to what the other person has to say. I always say communication and listening is, I will tell you, millions upon $1 million skill once you develop it. See, listening is about listening with your heart, listening with your emotions. We hear with our ears, we listen with our emotions. And most people are so quick to speak that they're interrupting the other person. Think about that. Have you ever done that or had that happen to you? See, or most people are just snapping. See, what you want to do is listen. See, communication and feedback is so important. Feedback, everybody says they want feedback until it's feedback outside of their comfort zone. Then they say, no, I just want this certain way. So they want conditional feedback. And if you're selling an idea, product, or service, your communication is absolutely critical, where you under-promise, you over-deliver, but you build urgency towards your idea, product, and service. See, communication is happening every day. It's happening through social media. It's happening through face-to-face conversations. It's happening to Zoom calls. It's happening to people in boardrooms all over the world. It's happening with your kids. It's happening with your spouse. And how are you communicating? Are you locked in and listening, or are you reacting? See, and are you speaking with the true intent of how you want it to be received, or are you assuming the other person is understanding? So how clear is your communication? And now, I always go back to us, because everything is about us. We are the only problem we're ever going to have, and we're the only solution. So how you communicate with yourself is absolutely critical. If you are not speaking kindly to yourself, if you're not giving yourself inspired thoughts, you know who's listening? Your subconscious mind. That's a part of you. It's in every cell of your body, and it is impersonal. It doesn't know what you mean. If you've had a bad day, it only knows what you give it. Then you feed it with emotion, you're in big trouble. See, I want you to learn how to communicate, not just to others, but to yourself with what you really want to create with your life. Now, and when you're communicating, you have to come with an understanding. You know, understanding is the key to freedom. And you want to come with an understanding of where the other person is. See, if I'm speaking to somebody, I want to find out, is that person right-brained or left-brained? Is that person sensitive, or are they very neutral? Is that person easily emotional, or is that person really calm? See, I would communicate to these people all in different ways, but I can't understand how to communicate to others if I don't understand myself first. See, this is where your intuition, another one of your faculties, is very important to develop. See, even when you go, you'll feel the energy. Is that person not even wanting to be on this conversation? Or are they jazzed up? Do they love being around you, and vice versa? See, you want to start understanding communication, but listening. I'm going to go back into this. This has earned me so many millions of becoming a great listener. When you're listening, you listen and make that person the most important person in the world. You look them straight in the eye and you listen without speaking. When they're done, then you speak. See, they are the most important person in the world. My mentor taught me that. He said, whatever you do, you make sure you always give that person your undivided attention, and he was a master at that. I mean, he taught me that so well. And you could be in a crowded room and you're so locked in on that person. Well, right away, that person's gonna feel valued by you, and you're gonna have an opportunity to have a great conversation, a great partnership, but everything comes with understanding. Listen with your emotions, develop that. Make the other person the most important person in the world. You know, I want you to think of your goal. Everything always comes back to your goal. And look, if you had already achieved that goal, would you communicate the way you currently communicate? Do you have gray area, or are you very succinct with your language? See, remember, winning is a language. And if you want to win in life, you want to make sure that you're speaking like you would like to be spoken to. Now, your tone, you can emphasize. Communication is so wonderful because tone is so important to emphasize your point, but you do it with a loving energy, another form of communication. See, I could teach a whole lesson, and I mean an hour-long lesson just on communication. When your communication changes and your understanding changes, guess what else is changing? Your awareness is changing. And I promise you, your results are going to be directly impacted by that. Now, you mix, first, master communicating with yourself. You say to yourself, from this point on, I am coming from an attitude of understanding, and my intent is going to communicate absolutely clearly, crystal clear, and I'm going to get my message across. Like I always tell people, you know, does that make sense? And I say that to say, are you understanding what I am talking about? Because if they're not, I want them to tell me. And I'll feel it, whether they hesitate, so you can feel it. But you want to really get rid of any gray area. You know, communicate clearly. That will create so many obstacles out of your life. So many businesses. I do corporate training, and I watch organizations have resentment towards each other for one thing. It's just lack of communication. They think somebody's thinking a thing and they're not even thinking about it. So we want to really master the art of communication. And I'm telling you, it's an art. It's like goal achievement. Goal achievement is an art. It's a manipulation of energy. You practice communicating more effectively, I'm telling you, your relationships are going to get a lot better, and it's going to impact the rest of your life. Listen with your heart. Listen with your emotions. Make the other person the most important person in the world. And if you're selling, I'm going to tell you something right now. Selling is all about listening, not speaking. Too many people lose sales because they speak too much. Listen to what the person is telling you. They're telling you their pain point. They're telling you how your idea, product, or service can help them. Master the art of listening. Listen to understand, not to speak. Sit back there, be very relaxed, put all your attention, open up your heart, listen to what they're saying. I'm telling you, you want to watch this over and over again. You want to evaluate yourself. What type of listener am I? What type of communicator am I? And look at your goal. Communicate like the person you want to be. Listen like the person you want to be. Make this such a strong piece of your self-image. You make this part of your self-image, I'm telling you, it's going to get your results to soar. Be a great communicator. Make it a part of your self-image. I am a great communicator. I listen even better than I communicate. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and really watch yourself soar. Thank you so much.